Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Backstage Spotlight. Today I am with Kayna. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Good. So, for those listening, would you like to do a brief introduction about yourself and what you're currently doing at the moment?
Yeah, I am currently playing Pearl in Starlight Express, which has been really, really fun so far. Um, we're a few weeks into our no-show weeks now, so that's been a lot. I think
Wow.
that's yeah. So considering this is the first job I've ever really done, it's been a really, really crazy experience, especially throughout these 9 show weeks, because we're all kind of just like figuring out how to pace ourselves and things. I've just recently graduated from arts ed as well, so I've just finished my training. Yeah, that is pretty much it, I think.
Great. So you're fresh into the industry, and what a job to start on, Starlight Express. I interviewed Eve playing Dinah, and she was telling me all about skate school and the ups and downs of it. What was your experience like as a skater? Because they do a skate round, don't they?
Yeah.
How did you find all of that?
I think for me, I remember the first time because I skated a little bit. Like I went to skating rinks when I was like 9 or and
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
parties and things. You know, when I was young. I hadn't put skates on for so long, and I literally knew nothing about it. Do you know what I mean? And then we went and did this sort of like skate round, and I put the skates on for the first time, and it all took us about like everyone there that was doing the audition that day took us so long to learn how to put the skates on, how to put the pads on.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, if I can't put these pads and these skates on, I don't know how I'm going to be able to skate. Um, so it was really a really, really crazy experience because I remember trying to stand up on the skates for the first time, and like they were asking us to do all of these things like skating across the room, skating back. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, like I don't get how people would do a show on skates like this. Um, so yeah, it was quite a surreal experience, I think. And I think I kind of thought that I'd kind of blown it because of the skate round. Like I think I thought they saw me on my skates and thought, yeah, that's that's not um but yeah, so I was really surprised when I found out the good news afterwards. But yeah, it was really funny putting the skates on for the first time.
This is something I wanted to know. Do they put protection in your costume in case you do fall over?
Yeah, so we have literally everything you could ever possibly think of, apart
Really?
from yeah. So you got the wrist guards on, you got the elbow pads, and then the knee pads. So
Oh,
you are fully protected, or protected as much as you can. And then for the races and stuff, they've given us sort of show helmets.
yes.
So they keep us extra safe for all of the proper skating
It's
round.
funny because the costumes are so like extravagant that you don't even think that it is protection. Like you just look at the costumes and you're like, wow, because the designs of those costumes are absolutely phenomenal. I mean, what was your first impression when you first put yours on?
Oh my gosh, I was so excited. I was also one of the last people to get to see like the finished costume. And
Mm.
I remember Gabby Slade, who designed costumes, so the last time I went to go for my last costume thing, she was like, out of everyone in the cast, I've had to see you the most and get all of the things because the costume was quite detailed. There was so much to attach onto everything, and there were a lot of individual pieces that needed to be built and things. So it took quite a while for me to get to see the full picture of the costume. And every time I went into the fitting, I'd get so excited because there'd be more and more added to it. So when I finally got to see it all come together, it was such a special moment, especially when I think back to the very beginning of the process when we had seen the costumes as sort of like their first design of it. As you know, it's just like their
Yeah.
first sort of draft of the drawings and things. Seeing that was exciting enough. And then to think about how far along in the process we'd gotten to a point where the costume was finished, like it felt really real. And I just felt like Ariana Grande. And I
It's
loved it.
such an Ariana Grande vibe, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like the
Especially when
ponytail.
yeah, the ponytail really gives the Ariana finish. So I
Oh,
love it.
What a good costume. What is your highlight in the show? Like your best bit to do?
Oh, best bit to do. I think I love, you know what? I'll actually be honest, it does change every week. But I think the one thing that I do always look forward to is singing I Do with Jeevan, which is the duet towards the end of the show. It's just so beautiful and it's fun to sing. All the planets come down and the set just
Yeah.
looks
Oh,
really
wow.
beautiful.
It's
Lighting.
yeah, it's such a breathtaking set, especially if you just don't know what you're expecting. It's
Yes.
phenomenal. And tell us a bit about Pearl, the character.
Yeah, so she's the newbie of the group. She's the new carriage. And she's just trying to figure out her place in this world that she's kind of been thrown into. So she goes on to this like huge journey because she's kind of like having an identity crisis throughout the whole thing. She's just trying to figure out who she is, trying to figure out who she wants to stay friends with. Because a lot of the people that you meet along the way throughout the story are kind of crazy. So she's just figuring out who she is really. I think that's what I really like about her. I think because I also think if you watch it for the first time, it's quite easy to think that she kind of just um, sort of she is quite a toxic person. But I actually think she's just trying to juggle whether she wants to choose like winning or choose her career over choosing love and like a romantic relationship. And I think for everyone, like that's actually quite um, a real story and a relatable
For
thing.
sure.
So I think she's great in that sense that actually she does have a bit of depth to her, even though on the surface it seems like she doesn't, but she does.
It's great. What was your reaction when you got the part and have your family and friends come to see the show? How was their reaction first seeing you skate?
Yeah, I think I remember the first day, the day I found out I got the job. It was literally the weekend. It was literally the Monday after I'd done the sort of dance audition and the skate round, and I was still doing my third year show. So I was playing Maureen and Rent at the time.
Wow.
My head of the musical theatre course actually, Jonathan O'Boyle, he emailed me and was like, "You need to come up to my office." So I thought I was in trouble. I thought I was in trouble. So I was kind of nervous to go into the office, and then he sat me down and he was like, "So they want you to play Pearl in Starlight Express," and they were like, and I literally just sat there and I went, "Are you sure? Like, are you sure?" Um, I remember crying. I can remember them like giving me hugs as congratulations. And then the first thing I did was I left the building, like I literally left just outside the building and called my mom straight away. And I was like,
Oh,
I got my first job. And my mom was sobbing on the phone. And yeah, it was just really cool. But I couldn't really tell anyone. It kind of had to stay a secret for a while
yeah.
until until the show had finished. Um, so I couldn't really tell a lot of people, but I shared the excitement with my parents, which was nice. That was enough for me. So yeah,
What an amazing first job. How was your time training? Did you enjoy drama school?
yeah, I did. I learned a lot. I definitely would not have gotten this job without it. I learned so much along the way, and also the amount of things I've applied to this process, to the rehearsal process for this job, that I wouldn't have even thought I'd learned about until I came out of uni.
Mm.
Those things were really essential in this process, I think, and I'm super grateful for everything that they taught me, and also just the friends that I made along the way. Like I think I also really lucked out with how close knit we were as a year. So because sometimes drama school can be hard, you know, it's a
Yes,
lot on the body, it's a lot mentally, but when you're surrounded by people that are, you know, genuine and fun to be around, then it makes the process a lot easier. So yeah.
definitely. If you could go back and say something to your first year self, what would it be?
Oh, oh, I think it would be, don't put yourself in a box. Don't try and tell yourself that you're good at this and that's what you're going to be doing. Because I pictured myself doing one thing and now I'm doing a show on skates. You know what I mean? Like you never know. So yeah, I think that's that. And also just have fun. I think you don't have to take it all very seriously. You know, You're not saving lives. So just enjoy it, embrace it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So you're a fresh graduate. What has it been like stepping into the industry? What is that gap between being at college and being in the professional world?
Yeah, I think I lucked out because art ed was actually really good at sort of establishing what the industry would be like. I think I
Mm.
felt quite prepared, even though, you know, in the beginning, like when I'd first found out that I'd gotten this job in the rehearsal process, I didn't feel like I was. But I think instincts wise, I think I had navigated the start of it quite well. Um, but I also feel like it's one of those things where you can never be fully prepared until you get thrown in the deep end.
Mm.
Um, so there were a lot of things that I've learned along the way that I you don't really experience at uni, um, things like that. It's pretty much the same with any industry you'd step into, or like even when I had done that transition from like, you know, sixth form into uni, there were a lot of things in those transitions that I didn't really figure out until I'd, you know, been thrown in the deep end. So it's kind of the same thing. But yeah, it's just being a bit of a whirlwind. I think I'm still in that stage of trying to navigate everything. But I'm having a lot of fun, so yeah.
So did you graduate 2024?
Yeah, I'm officially, like, this graduation ceremony is in September, so
Wow.
yeah.
So we're in the same year because I've just
Yeah,
graduated too.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. I mean, to be just doing working already and to have already gone through like the whole of the skate school and to already have the Starlight Express experience must feel so rewarding, and all that hard work has finally paid off and quite soon for you as well. I mean, what can you see the future holding for you? Would you like to continue doing musical theatre?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think especially after doing this, I feel like there's so many more things out there that I want to do. And I think for me, I knew that the hardest part would be getting my first job. And never in my life did I ever think it was going to be this soon. I feel like you don't come out of uni expecting that. And I don't think anyone really does, because
Yeah.
everyone knows how hard the industry is. Um, so I feel really lucky that my first job has come this soon. Um, I think, you know, there are still so many musicals out there that I want to do. But I also would love to branch out into other things like screen or plays. I love just sort of
Mm.
straight acting as well. So I think that would be really fun. But yeah, I think for now, I'm going to stick with musical theatre because it's been my first love and I want to stay in it as much as I can. So
Oh.
yeah.
If there is one show you could do straight away, like it doesn't even have to be on at the moment, what would it be?
I think Eurydice in Hades Town has always
Oh, what a
been a big one for
show.
me. Yeah. Or because like this was a big childhood love of mine, Kim in Miss Saigon. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Both incredible, incredible roles. I mean, yeah, fantastic. And every
Yeah.
fingers crossed for you because anything could happen. So you
Yeah.
never know.
Fingers.
You never know. So what's a daily life, like day in the life for you with Starlight Express? How do you do the work-life balance?
Oh yeah, I think that is the big part of this process that I've had to navigate myself around, is how to balance between work and just myself and self-care and friends and family. Um, so yeah, I mean, most mornings it's just kind of waking up, treating myself to a nice breakfast, having a nice coffee, making sure I'm rolling out my legs because my legs get really painful throughout the
Can
day.
imagine.
Yeah, um, and then it's just go to the theatre, um, say hello to everyone, warm up, do a little skate warm up with some nice music on in the background, get ourselves hyped up, and then do my makeup and put the costume on and then do the show,
Yeah.
which is really fun. Like it's a really crazy experience, and I think the one thing that I'd always looked forward to when I wanted to be in a job was like getting to sit in the dressing room and getting to put all the makeup on and chatting to the people in the dressing room with you. And I still feel like sometimes I'm sitting in the dressing room chair with Eve and Ali who plays Greaseball and Jade who plays Mama. And I feel like I sit there and just think, wow, this was what I've wanted to be doing for so long.
Yeah,
So
and now it's just reality.
yeah, it's reality. I'm literally sitting here doing blush and putting on my false eyelashes, getting ready, doing a show.
Amazing. So
Yeah,
good. And when you take the skates off, does it
yeah,
feel a bit weird at first? Because you've had them on for so long and it's almost like second nature. When you're walking home, are you a bit like, oh, tripping over your feet?
yeah,
Are you
yeah.
actually?
Actually, yeah. Well, it happened a lot more during skate school.
Mm.
But especially, it kind of felt like vertigo. Like I felt really disorientated because
Yeah.
we'd be at skate school from 10 till 6. So we were wearing those skates for a long time. And
Yeah.
I feel like there were some moments where I was so convinced that I had my skates on, that I would try and do a stop, like a toe stop. And I just thought that's so embarrassing, like in public. And I thought I was the only one who had done that before. And then Beth, who was one of the swings, was like, no, I've done the exact same. Like she told me she was on one of the escalators at the station once and she did a toe stop at the very end, thinking that was gonna like
That's so
stop her.
funny.
And it's just like things like that you don't actually think about until you take them off. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was a really, really
I
strange
suppose like the
thing.
motion sickness as well, like not
Yeah,
sickness, but you know, when you're on a boat and like you
yeah,
just naturally feel the bobbing. I suppose
yeah.
like, do you ever lie down to go to sleep and you can just feel yourself like wheeling around?
Yes, it's exactly like that. It feels exactly like that.
Yeah.
It's so such a strange thing to try and explain, but it feels exactly like you're like after you've been on a boat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And then you just like you're just lying down, like just about to fall asleep, and you're suddenly just skating around.
So strange. And then during skate school as well, like so many of my dreams were skate related. So
Yeah.
I sometimes I'd go to bed and I'd have a dream. This dream was quite funny, and I told my the skate coach afterwards about it because I had a dream that we were at the top of the ramp. Bearing in mind this was probably like 2 weeks in, so we hadn't even really. I wasn't that high on the ramp yet. I was barely there, and like I got to the top and I just had a dream that he like pushed me over the top ramp because I just thought, I don't know. And then I woke up and I was like, oh my God. And then that same day, he was wearing the t-shirt that I had dreamt he was wearing. So
No,
then
but
I was
you like
really,
he's gonna push me down the
yeah,
ramp.
yeah, exactly. That's why I had to tell him because I thought, I swear, if this is your plan of the day, I'm going to need you to rein it in because you're not doing that to me today. So yeah, that was really funny.
That's hilarious. It's so funny because when you do something for a long period of time, your brain just like it's in there. It reminds me of a time where in lockdown, you know those pixel games where you like color the pixels in.
Yeah, I still play those.
Honestly, I played that so much that my dreams were in pixels. I was like, I'm gonna have to stop playing that game.
No way.
And but yeah, because I was just doing it all day, like the color by number thing. And I was like, like I'm gonna have to like take a stop to this playing this game. I had to delete the app because like my dreams are actually in pixel.
Yeah. I feel like because my life had been so consumed by skates and skate school, a lot of my dreams, and a lot of people in the cast have said the same, that it felt like it consumed most of our dreams during the night, which was so funny. Yeah.
Oh, it's mad. This might be a hard question. You might not be able to answer it, but if you weren't playing Pearl, what other train would you want to be in the cast?
I think I want to play Slick. Um,
Yes, cool
I
one.
love her song. I love her song. Also, I just think she's such a fun character because she gets to play the sort of like nice one of the group, but she's actually literally the devil. So I would love to play, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be cool. Um, in the future, if you only had to pick between doing musicals or doing like TV work, and like you do one, but like the other's like swept off the earth, what would you pick?
I think I'd stick to musical theatre. I
Yeah.
think I love it too much to let go of that. I
Mm.
think I haven't had enough experience with screen, to be honest. I've only ever had like acting lessons with with screen stuff. And actually, I feel like, because I don't have a lot of experience in it, I still get really uncomfortable when there's a camera that's like right next to me whilst I'm acting. So I think for me, I'm going to stick with my comfort. I'm going to stick with musical theatre on that one. Yeah.
And I suppose like there's just that live audience element in musical theatre that you just
Yeah.
can't replace when you do screen work, because that adrenaline that you must feel on stage. I mean, you can tell me yourself, what is that feeling like for you when you are performing?
So fun. Genuinely, it's my favorite part of the whole thing. I think that's why musical theatre is so fun to do, because you never know what audience you're gonna get. You never know what they're gonna react to. Especially with an audience like Starlight, there are so many kids that come see the show,
Yes.
and they the way that they will look at you with the most like innocent and engaged eyes you'll ever see. Like, it's the most rewarding experience in the world.
Mm.
Um, but then there's also, it also makes it so much more fun, because sometimes the audience members are absolutely great. Like, it's so funny. Like, well, one time there was like a lot, it was just show stops because like people aren't feeling well, and it's just like things like that. You're just kind of like, you're not gonna get that if with
Yeah.
screen, like it's live theatre is just always really fun, because you never know what you're gonna expect from an
Mm.
audience, even from our perspective, especially
Yeah.
when you're on skates, because you never know. You never know if you're gonna fall over. So
There was also, did you hear about the time it was when the was it Football World Cup was on? They had to stop the show because this guy was watching the football like final on his phone, and like all the audience were like, "Turn your phone off, we're in the theatre." And I think they actually had to stop the show because this guy was just watching the football.
yeah, it's just little things like that. I just think they're so funny. I mean, there was one time when in ours, there was someone who, bless them, I think it was a little kid. They were having like, I think it was a sparkly drink. The drink exploded and then it went onto the stage. So we had to
Oh,
do
you
a
had to
show
mop
of,
it.
like mop it, things like that. I remember, bless, I felt really bad, but it was literally our first preview, and me and Jeevan were doing the first duet in the show, which was Whistle at Me. And I just hear in our inner showstopper, and me and Jeevan are like, you're kidding.
On stage.
Yeah. And bless, it was because someone in the audience wasn't feeling well, so they had to take them out, which was obviously like horrid for them. And
Yeah.
we did
And
feel
I
really bad.
suppose in Starlight Express, because the track is in the middle of the audience, you do have to, it's just safer to stop the show if someone does want to get out, because
Yeah.
you're literally skating all the time like, on that track, and you don't know,
Yeah.
you have to stop the
Yeah.
show basically. But I mean, that
It's
must just
hard.
be crazy.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, if audiences come in, if audiences need to leave, they can't come back until act two if they leave during act one.
Yes. Yes.
So things like that. And then there are certain numbers where the ushers are allowed to bring latecomers in. So it's like little things like that you wouldn't even have to think about with other shows, but because these ones are on skates and it can be quite dangerous, then yeah, you've got to really think those things through. So it's very, very interesting to see how this process has all come together, I think.
Definitely. Have you ever felt a moment where you're about to fall on stage?
Oh, so many. So many, especially with, so there's a revolve on the stage. I think recently it's kind of like, because of, obviously it's detached to the actual like part of the stage that doesn't revolve. There's a little like lip in between, and sometimes if you don't have enough speed on stage, and you're like, you're just standing there, but you start rolling backwards, like you feel like you're about to fall because you feel the bump. So it's like little things like that. And also, the audience is, you've got two small like little lanes with like a small raised part of it that protects the audience, but it's not very high. So like every time you trip, you just get so scared you're gonna land on someone. And I just always feel like I see the audience being a bit like and they see us like fall a little bit, I think they flinch, which I think is really funny. Yeah, many times.
Oh, and you get that feeling in your stomach, don't you, when it's like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
fall.
yeah, it's never gonna go away, I don't think. But it's part of the fun. I really, really enjoyed learning how to skate. And it was something that I never thought I'd ever really enjoy doing. I'm not really the type who would ever really enjoy those types of things, but I've really grown to love it. So yeah.
It's brilliant. It's so nice that you have had that opportunity within learning the show that you've learnt this whole new skill that you can take with you now for the rest of your life.
Yeah, and I remember Luke Sam at the skate coach saying, on one of the first days, I think he was like, "How cool is it that you get paid to learn a new skill?" And I thought, yeah, it is really cool. And
Yeah.
so every time that I was in skate school and I was really struggling and I was getting emotional, overwhelmed, I'd always be like, you know what? Getting paid to learn a new skill. I'm gonna be doing a musical. It's gonna be fine. And it always got me through what he said. So yeah, very grateful for that.
So nice. Well, can you believe it? We're coming to the end, and I need to ask you a question I ask all of my podcast guests.
Yes.
If you could nominate someone to come on the podcast to impart their knowledge, tell good stories, it can be on stage, off stage, coaches, choreographers, anyone, who would it be? And I'll reach out to them.
Ooh. Um I think I'd actually say I've watched Next to Normal recently. One of
Mm,
like my favorite show in the whole world right now. So I
yes.
think I'd say Jack Wolf. I think he'd be great.
Okay.
Um,
Yes.
or also Eleanor Worthington.
Yes.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
my two.
That show, I mean, I was talking about it with Eve, when we did the episode. It's just there's just no words for it. It's just it's mad, isn't it?
I know it's actually genuinely so incredible. I've seen it twice.
So
I
have
would
I.
definitely see it a third time. I
Me
really would.
too. Me too.
Yeah.
And like I wouldn't want to do it to myself like emotionally, but it's just
No.
so good that I would.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Amazing.
incredible. Listen, thank you so much for coming on and chatting to me. I hope you've enjoyed it. And to everybody listening, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.